Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. One of the big things that we were watching for back in 2023 was the Bank of England and the entire UK. They have been focused on becoming a crypto hub for well over the last almost 2 years now. And I do think that we need to put a big spotlight on them, especially at this current moment in time. And I'm going to be addressing why. Now, first and foremost, let's start with this post back in November, where we had Bank of England proposes allowing stablecoins as a payment option for goods and services. The Bank of England releases stablecoin regulation plan. Now, if we go back to April of 2022, here we actually have the government sets out plan to make UK a global crypto asset technology hub. This is from the gov.uk website. The government has today announced moves that will see stablecoins recognized as a valid form of payment as a part of a wider plan to make Britain a global hub for crypto asset technology and investment. Now, the key things to look at here was stablecoins to be brought within regulation, paving their way for use in the UK as a recognized form of payment. Announcement part of a series of measures to make the UK a global hub for crypto asset technology and investment. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, because guess what? We are now at a crucial moment in time where the UK is moving forward on major plans around reinventing and revolutionizing their real-time gross settlement system. Over here we have, this is from January 25th, the real-time gross settlement service, an open platform to drive innovation, speech by Victoria Cleland. Now, if we scroll down, we can see that she describes how the Bank of England is enhancing its core payments infrastructure and policies in the light of the opportunities arising from innovation and new technologies in the payment landscape. Mind you, if we go back to this, it wasn't just stablecoins that they were talking about in here. They were actually addressing a lot of things happening around NFTs, DeFi as a whole. They were even talking about crypto assets and how they could innovate and scale up in the country, as well as innovate within the payment space. So as we really look at what's going on, I truly believe that everyone should be looking at how big of an opportunity it is to focus on what these major areas like the UK are doing and the connections back to this space. Now, within this, we have the speech. Technological innovation coupled with shifts in demand for payment services is driving transformation in the financial and payment landscape. Today, I will outline how the Bank of England is enhancing its core payments infrastructure to support this change. Now, there's a lot to talk about in this. I mean, it is a massive speech. I'm not going to go over everything, but I will highlight some great topics. First and foremost, they are talking about the G20 targets around the cross-border payments roadmap, which, yes, that goes back to even the CPMI group with the BIS. We've talked about that. The G20 is trying to make cross-border payments a lot more efficient. They want to enhance payments, and this is for around-the-clock transactions, instant settlement, things like that. Now, if we scroll down, we can actually see a few things. So one, RTGS is the beating heart of the financial system. So we want to ensure that it can continuously adapt to the changing needs of the industry and that safe and resilient settlement is central bank money remains at the core of the payments landscape. Beyond this, again, we can scroll down and we can see that they want to support the cross-border payment revolution. Ultimately, we want to support the development by industry and innovation, the industry of innovative features, which would lead to cheaper, safer, and faster domestic and cross-border payments. Down here, we could actually see we are renewing the RTGS infrastructure. The RTGS is currently being renewed to deliver more resilient, flexible, and innovative sterling settlement. The first phase of our RTGS renewal program, which focused on implementing the ISO 20022 global messaging standard, completed in June of 2023. And this year, we will transition to a new core settlement engine. The renewed service will provide benefits for the industry across 4 key areas: increased resilience, greater access, wider interoperability, and improved user functionality. So this all has to do with ISO 20022 leading into the path of tapping into APIs, DLT, blockchain, new technologies. And here we are reviewing whether access to the RTGS could be further improved. Over the recent years, to support the evolving payments landscape, the Bank of England has introduced several changes to its policies that govern access to the RTGS system. Increasing RTGS access, particularly for non-bank payment service providers, financial market infrastructures, and foreign banks, holds significant potential to boost efficiency, transparency, and resilience in the global payments landscape, as envisioned by the G20 roadmap. Now, beyond that, you can actually see down here a few things on what they are trying to do. Again, it is all focused on real-time payments, synchronized settlement, and cross-border transactions, and offering participants improved flexibility to manage their intraday liquidity. And we've gone over a few of these things. Again, there's a lot to look into this and try to connect it back to a few things. Just full transparency, I put out a full breakdown in the past talking about a lot of these things, which we will address in this video. But also, they are innovating with wholesale settlement innovation. This is actually with Project Meridian, which is a proof of concept with the BIS. Quant was tied into this. This is all tapping into DLT, as you guys do see here. And again, utilizing APIs. RippleNet is an API. It could be plug and played into this, for an example. But again, we don't have confirmation of that. But beyond this, we also got the response to the Bank of England and HM Treasury consultation paper, The Digital Pound, a New Form of Money for Households and Businesses. And this is, again, January 25th, 2024. Within this, they do address how the economy is becoming more digital and people are using cash less. And they're talking about how they want to launch a digital pound, aka a UK CBDC. And they even talk about, in an increasingly digital economy, payments have changed rapidly. New technologies are always emerging, making it easier and quicker to buy the things we want. But this often means we can't pay with cash because cash can't be used online. We are supporting safe innovation across the financial system. And again, all of this is utilizing new technology and upgrading the core technology that sits at the heart of all payments in the UK. Now, again, we don't know if XRP is going to be tapped in, but we do know that a lot of what we are seeing being discussed within these documents is all centered around digital CBDCs, stablecoins, DLT, blockchain. They have to tap into new technologies. What are those new technologies? Right? We've gone over this. Beyond this, back in August, I put out a massive thread. I mean, guys, this thread is extremely long. It goes on for a while, but it is connections with Ripple and the Bank of England going all the way back 6 years ago. A lot of people said it means nothing today. It's 6 years old. This is what most think, but the truth is that ISO 20022, for example, originally launched in 2004. These things take time. Now, all of this was focused on the RTGS system. The full focus was on synchronization between 2 different real-time gross settlement systems with 2 different currencies, all catering around speed and efficiency of cross-border payments. And now what are we seeing? They're talking about cross-border payments. They're talking about this transformation. They're talking about how change is inevitable. They're talking about how they need to tap into new technologies for this payments landscape to be transformed. And guess what? They're talking about cross-border payments. And they are addressing the same exact goals that the G20 has for even the CPMI group, which is from the BIS with Ripple on it. Now, there's a lot that I highlighted here. I don't want to go over too much. I want to go over what I specifically outlined with Ripple and XRP. I said, going back to the Bank of England document, here is some great insights on the the payment revolution happening within the white paper. Again, focusing on the RTGS API platform. with synchronization and reducing current frictions in cross-border payments. Cough, cough, Ripple XRP. And here you actually have the migration to ISO 20022 messaging and delivery of a new core settlement engine will give us the platform to continue to innovate. We intend to enhance the renewed RTGS service further and to introduce changes that could enable participants to offer cheaper, faster, and safer payments to their customers. Down here, key takeaways and next steps. The benefits included the potential to reduce cost for users in the long term through new ways to connect to RTGS, such as further development of the RTGS application programming interface, API platform. Again, APIs are the crucial thing to focus on, and innovative services such as synchronization, which could help reduce the current frictions in cross-border payments. Then over here, we have cross-border payments. We're seen as having the highest potential for improvement, further opportunities to improve settlement. And again, this is all around utilizing ISO 20022 messaging with APIs, and they want to particularly focus on liquidity. Outside of this, key timeline to follow is the summer of 2024 into November of 2024 for this new RTGS system to go fully live. Everything is coming together for the UK to usher into the digital age of finance. Still think these Ripple documents are too old to consider being a big deal? Again, it's a big question because a lot of people are still saying like, oh, it's old news. Like Ripple and XRP are not tied into this at all. I don't believe that. Now, again, I could be wrong, but when we look back on a lot of these connections, specifically even with the CPMI, because they are even talking about the CPMI group in this document, and they're talking about those priorities around the contribution areas to focus on with cross-border payments, payment system interoperability and extension, legal, regulatory, and supervisory frameworks, cross-border data exchange of message standards. Like all of this is what we have been talking about for a very long time. Now, again, we don't have confirmation that Ripple and XRP will be utilized 100%, but I do think that we can kind of connect the dots, especially with a lot of the organizations that are tied back to this innovation. And guess who's on all of those PDF files? Guess who's tied into the CPMI group? That's right, Ripple. Look at the institutions on the CPMI group as well. Do you notice some of these big names? These are large banking giants. And when you actually look at some of the names on here, and we go back to this CBDC revolution that everyone is talking about, a lot of these players on this list are looking into CBDCs. We also know that Ripple launched the CBDC platform. I mean, I don't believe in coincidences when we talk about a lot of these big moves being made by these large giants, like, for an example, the Bank of England with the UK. But the RTGS system, the reason why we focused on it is because guess what? It settles over $950 billion and at times upwards of $1.2 trillion per day. If you guys do want to go check out this thread, I do have it highlighted in my highlights on my Twitter account. Just go to highlights and scroll down. It's not too far down on the list. It's right here. You guys are more than welcome to go check it out because there's a lot of crucial information in there. Now, last but not least, I want to take you guys all the way back to 2020. Again, old information is still not a thing of the past. It's so crucial to still tap in to a lot of this information and know what's going on behind the scenes, or at least what was going on behind the scenes then, because it is so crucial to know today. This is from 801_XRP. This goes back to May 3rd, 2023 when he posted this. Former Ripple individual, present executive chairman, RTGS Global, Marcus Treacher. By the way, if you guys do want to go check him out on LinkedIn, highly suggest you do. He has connections back to Citi, Swift, you name it. This is an older interview in 2020 speaking on connecting ledger CBDCs and bridging them using XRP. Listen closely to this.
So many countries in the emerging markets are very quickly thinking through and developing frameworks for CBDCs or stablecoins to be used domestically. And that creates kind of a sea change in how you can think about moving value between countries. In the old model, the only way to move value was to message between a bank in one country, a bank in another country. The Romans used the method that we use today. We just automate it. It's computerized, but it's a really old method. So the opportunity here is to switch from the messaging method to a completely connected ledger synchronization between a balance, let's say the UK, and a balance in the Eurozone. So at Ripple, what we are doing is focusing on building out that DLT international network. And we do this by two things. One, we interconnect with the ledgers of banks and payment companies in national clearing networks. And in that context, as the European Union gets behind and supports the growth of CBDCs and domestic digital assets, then the ledgers that Ripple is connecting to, let's say, for example, from a Canadian repository to, let's say, a French repository, if both of those accounts or wallets are run and supported by digital assets, then the value exchange can be immediate, atomic, and have blockchain integrity, even though both ends of the payment exist in very different blockchain environments. One in my example in Canada, one in the European Union. So we're working on the interconnection. We call the model interledger, interconnecting between digital asset blockchains. Now that, if you like, addresses the need for cross-border payments to flow with the same velocity and the same scale that domestic payments can flow. So you kind of solve half the problem. The second half of the problem is all around liquidity. And the kind of elephant in the room is today, the world locks up around, I think it's around 10 or 10 to 15, whatever, trillion dollars at any one time in balances and nostros in different parts of the world to fund payments, which are sent in great big chunks at end of day or end of week. The opportunity here with CBDCs running domestically and with a bridge asset, another cryptocurrency model, a bridge asset to connect those CBDCs together, the opportunity is to deliver liquidity on point, in the moment, in microseconds, from one part of the world to another. And the model that we focus on is using XRP, which is a very high velocity and very high volume digital asset. It's a free floating asset, unlike a CBDC or stablecoin. Use it as a bridge currency between these CBDCs. So you imagine a world in future where there are, let's say, 180 individual CBDCs per jurisdiction in the world. Making markets between those CBDCs is quite challenging unless you have a common single point, the bridge currency, which then enables connections to be made more efficiently and markets to be made between these individual currencies. So you put that together with both the bridge currency between those CBDCs and the overriding ledger connection between the blockchains that run those CBDCs, and you are kind of redefining how value is moved cross-border. It's a complete departure from the messaging model that we've automated but haven't changed, and it moves into an immediate liquidity, a non-trap cash, a wallet-to-wallet, a micro-payment model. That's also really important for extending reach. European Union being a very strong, developed economic bloc, it is in a great position to then help leverage and grow inclusion around the wider region across Eurasia, Sub-Saharan Africa, Middle East, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and by leveraging what you're doing on the European Union and with the directive that you've currently propagated, leveraging that to benefit those who need very high volume, very immediate, low value micropayments with very limited liquidity tie-up. It's a massive opportunity I think we can grasp by tackling that cross-border problem.
And again, this is why cross-border payments has always been the full focus on my end when it comes to XRP. Obviously, there's a ton of other great opportunities and use cases around XRP and the XRP ledger. But once we have a lot of these crucial pieces of the puzzle solved, now we are living in the future around payments. And it all really starts with these core systems that move a large portion of the money around the world. Now, I'm not saying that Ripple and XRP are directly tied back to this RTGS system, but there's so much focus on liquidity around this. You have even liquidity bridges being talked about in terms of releasing trapped capital or trapped liquidity and reducing the funding cost of cross-border payments. I mean, when we literally read some of this stuff and we're sitting here and we're saying, yeah, I heard this before. We think about what we have heard in the past. We think about what we have read in the past. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is 100% confirmed that Ripple and XRP are tied in, but one thing that we can confirm from all of this is that the UK with the Bank of England, they are ready. They have been ready for a while, and now they are pushing this and accelerating the move towards digital more than ever before. And it really just starts with their core system, the heart of the UK, which is their RTGS system. And this is moving massive amounts of money. We don't know what DLT is going to be involved or anything like that. It's probably going to be private-based DLT, if anything, which wouldn't surprise me. But I do think that this has connections back to blockchain and DLT, no doubt. Because again, when we are hearing discussions around new technologies, especially in the payment space, we always go back to crypto. We always go back to DLT because T+0, which is same day settlement, it's not achievable without DLT and blockchain. So again, focus on the bigger picture here. A lot of major changes are happening, especially on the front of central banks, these major institutions, and the global sphere of payments and finance. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on for more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and for your Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.